saying that it was OTF Jam. He's a snitch. He's a cooperator, right? And I would say, I got you. Now, apparently, it looks like it looks like. Give me a second. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting more and more of a clear message as I watch this third trial, or this case kind of continue to trial. Trial is still tentatively scheduled for January. I think it'll be pushed back again. If you don't, I think it's going to be within the year of 2026 that the trial goes down, but I think it's going to be later in the year. It was supposed to be in October, but then got pushed back from October to January. I think it might be in February right now, but they're going to move it back again, if you ask me. Now, the reason why I'm reporting this is that there was a joint motion put forth to the court, and this was a joint motion with not only defendant Dirk Banks, which is obviously Lil Durk, but it had Didi, which is DeAndre Dontrell Wilson,
Morning.
David Brian Lindsay.
Thank you for that like. Happy New Year. How y'all doing?
What's called a motion.
Glad to see that y'all here with me. It's Black Friday. Make sure you stay tuned in. We're going to be going live. We're going to be having giveaways. Get at my TikTok, IG, NYPD loves me. I'll follow you back.
Actually came about to get this indictment, and they believe that this should be disqualified. Now, number one, this is a long shot. I don't think it's going to happen at all. So I do think this indictment will stand. But why this is important is that we're now seeing what I believe is going to be the course of action for Dirk's case. The people in this case, or the defendants, they're moving cohesively, right? They're all going to be kind of, Brian Steele of this case is going to be Drew Finley, right? Now, the issue here is there is one person that's not on here, and it's OTF Bonnie, and he's not involved in these mutual joint filings, which is very suspect, because you would imagine if all the defendants start going along with procedural, even if they still deny, it's procedural, right? Hey, we're going to file for this, motion for this. It kind of tells me that Bonnie might be.
Yo, good morning. How y'all doing? Please hit that like button for me so we could get the algorithms going and I could start the show for y'all. We really got to get some likes going in here, man. Thank you for that. See, reciprocation, that's all. Thank you, guys. Keep it up.
But it does look odd.
Heike, what's up? Good morning.
Absent, not only in
we not on violent time right now. We on good timing right now. We on positive mode.
In line and in
like the video.
Saying we're following these motions. It kind of
Happy Black Friday. I hope you get some shopping done
for the government, and maybe he's cooking up a 5K1 letter that would subsequently be used. And here's the thing. We would know that, and this is how it would work if this is the case. He would have went to court by himself, just like Ossie Stellman, pled guilty. So plead guilty.
Need to get some peaks up, man. Hit that like button, man.
Right? Because that's what he's charged with. He would plead guilty for that and all the underlying charges. And then...
yeah, all that, man. Just hit the like button, all right?
Enlist in cooperation in hopes of getting this 5K1 letter that at sentencing, because the sentence for murder for hire is life, so you're essentially pleading, and by the way, you can't, this is why the federal court is so ironclad. You already pled guilty. There is no downward departure from mandatory minimum of life imprisonment unless you cooperate. Okay? So he would have to cooperate, but it would be kept hidden. If we kept hidden, we will see. The cooperation would be kept hidden until it's unsealed.
Hey, Leah, how you doing?
So we wouldn't.
I'm waiting for everybody to come in and waiting for them to like the live so that, we could get started. Because I want to make sure I get in the algorithm this morning. It's Black Friday. It's the holidays. It's a lot of people going to be consuming entertainment, traveling, moving around. So make sure y'all hit that like button.
Co-conspirator 2, but he's not that close to them.
Hey, good morning. Happy Black Friday.
So he's definitely not involved. He already pled guilty to murder. To murder and murder for hire, right? His shit is sealed. So we'll know who that is, and we'll know when that is right before trial. They're going to unseal that. But Vonnie, if Vonnie took a deal, or he's working, he would have pled guilty. And the reason why I'm even toying around with that assumption is that once he stops filing all the regular shit, is because his case is already done. You know what I'm saying? His case is already set in stone, so he needs not file any of these pre-trial just motions, which is like, these are regular. So I'm hoping Vonnie isn't a cooperator. It would also be wicked if he was, because he's the one who's alleged and accused to have buying the gloves, buying the masks, and supposedly giving these items to the guys who eventually did the murder. So if he was that much involved, you would hope that that person wouldn't be telling, right? It's not like some innocent guy who just got caught up in some shit, right? Like, for example, if the person who booked the flights on the credit card, which I think they're cooperative too, when they get pressed by the cops and they're like, yo, no one told me I'm booking flights for murder. I never agreed to that. I booked flights for Dirk and his people. If that person cooperated, as long as they're not a street person, I would imagine, you can't say anything about that. They didn't know nothing. Like, they're like, I didn't sign up to book flights for murders. Right? So, you understand that person cooperated. But if the person who's buying the gloves, the masks, and things of that sort, and who's also flying from Florida to California on the private jet with Dirk, you would think that person is involved to some extent. Like, all right, you're involved. So if that person tells, number one, I think it would be a long day and a hard time for Dirk to beat this. If we're thinking that the shooter, I've kind of summed up this case. I don't think the shooter, which is co-conspirator 4, no, 2, I keep saying 4, 2. They don't know Dirk. These were these out-of-town shooters, primarily, that Didi got. So it's not Dirk's guys. I would be shocked if they had much communication with Dirk, or that Dirk would even trust these guys. Let's say this happened. That Dirk would trust these guys to say, yo, I'm gonna pay you to kill somebody. You wouldn't, like, somebody bring, like, not necessarily a stranger, but it's not one of your guys, you start talking different. I would be surprised if Dirk would be that loose with his lips, pause, to have anything incriminating. Maybe a text message saying, yo, I'm gonna pay you for clapping that nigga, or yo, you gotta come do this, you gotta go kill this guy. I don't think none of that exists, and we haven't heard about anything like that from the prosecutors. So I believe if the feds needed a better snitch for Dirk, and the best quote unquote snitch they could have would be the person who was next to him as he flew on that plane, the person who got the items that was used, and their excuse could be, I didn't really want to do it. Dirk told me go get the gloves and go get the masks and go get this.
What up? What
So
up,
maybe
people? Hit
that's
that
what it
like
is,
button
but
for me, please.
I'll still be surprised.
Thank
But I'm
y'all
not
for
gonna
coming
lie.
in the
As of
building.
now,
I'm happy to have you
I've not
here.
seen Bonnie falling. I'm looking at these things. Yeah. Austin Houston, like there's a lot of, you know. Yeah. Let me see.
The Sixers, Bulls, Clippers, Blazers. Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime.
You put fried chicken on a charcuterie board? You don't?
With a name like Biltmore, one would expect gracious hospitality.
One of my favorite parts of the job is to see people enjoy the end product of our labor. For me, hospitality is welcoming someone you don't know, treating them like family.
Even people that you don't know, you give them a glass of wine, they immediately feel welcome.
I think when guests come to we're taking the bottle of our wine and bringing part of our legacy.
We have over 40 wines, so there's something for everyone, and surely we can find something that you love here at Biltmore.
For you uncontrolled nasal polyp sufferers, Dupixent is an add-on treatment that invites you to go beyond. Dupixent goes beyond your nasal polyps by helping block the key source of underlying inflammation that can cause them. It shrinks nasal polyps and can help you breathe better with less congestion, so you can go beyond too. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor right away if signs of inflamed blood vessels like rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, brown or dark colored urine, tingling, or numbness in limbs. Tell your doctor if new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection or asthma. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Go beyond and do more with less nasal polyps. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
What's
So
up?
much
What's
of the
up?
gloves
What's
and
up?
masks can be used for the videos. Sure. Things come on, man. Okay. Sure. Hey, listen. You don't gotta convince me. You don't have to convince me. You don't have to convince the jurors. But if somebody hears about a murder, if on that video when they're shooting at the gas station, if those guys have on gloves, it's gonna be assumed that the gloves that you bought at that store that day was probably for the murder and not for this one. Yeah. Kawan Grant's name is noticeably missing from a lot of this. Joint injections. See, we're seeing a bunch of joint charges of joint like objections and things like that. Again, we see Dirk's lawyers, we see Dee Dee's lawyers, and these other two. Remember, this plot was carried out. There's co-conspirator 2, which is a shooter. He's missing, but he's clearly telling. And then now Bonnie is noticeably absent. By the way, I read that Bonnie didn't show up to court at the last hearing. So it's kind of looking.
Hit that like button. Hit that like button for me, y'all.
Last from a year ago. Might be Dirk been locked up in a year. Yeah, haven't seen Bonnie's able to cook it for long. Yeah, we haven't seen it. And apparently he didn't show up to court at one of those like pre-trial conferences where everybody got brought to court. He didn't show up. know, man.
Nakalive ka. You're doing live streaming also.
I think you gotta look at it like this. Well, for me, I look at it like
Text and the PSA table.
this was the get back for
Howard.
the murder of King Von.
I'm from Philippines.
King Von's manager right hand man was
I
gone.
know.
I would think if anybody,
Yeah.
maybe even more than me, that wanted to get that get back, I would think it would be for Vonnie. That was your lifeline. That was your meal ticket. You know, you're his manager. You're running around getting bread with Vaughn. Vaughn gets killed. Dirk kind of brings you back into the fold with some OTF shit. I could see like there's some, you have some type of incentive to slot it, right? But I can imagine once you get locked up, you realize this is no fucking joke. Murder for hire is a mandatory life sentence. If the feds show you something compelling that you think that you ought to go to jail forever, and then they say, well, we need you now. If you help us, we're gonna recommend.
Hey, what's up,
15
baby?
years.
Kamusta ka po? Thank you.
10, 15. Yeah. It's so like 15. Maybe that person says, hey, do I really want to take my chances in court? Let me make sure I can get up out of this bitch one day. But yeah, we have not seen O.T. Money in a while.
You want to support me?
That being said, let's say the women, the kids, the elderly, the neutrons, and the severe prosecutors. But guess who's missing? OTL Bonnie, man. We talking about that, and we talking about the woman who was walking home with her kids and was tight. That's some kids, man. They evil. Make sure you smash that like button so the video can get around. If you got Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch, make sure y'all smash that like button and that hype button. Alright, y'all, so we talking about Lil Durk's story first. It is 11:18, and they supposed to have a motion with all the defendants present and the prosecution, and they going over whether the judge, you know, they talking about something they talking about is whether the judge was supposed to recuse herself, but they already, the government clapped back on the motion. I reported about it last night on my video, and they said that they don't have to recuse her because they already basically rolled down on the fans, some kids in the suburbs, so they knew we didn't have to tell y'all because we know y'all don't have no involvement. That's what the feds said. But they're supposed to have a court motion. And everybody is on that motion. Even Lindsay, which is Flocka. Flocka joined, you know, Dirk now motion. Only one that ain't got no motions is OTF Bonnie. Why is it bad that OTF Bonnie ain't got no motion put in to join with Dirk? Because OTF Bonnie is being accused of being on the plane with Dirk. He's accused of buying the weapons, buying the cars, paying for the killer's hotel room. That's what they saying OTL Bonnie did. And
Bonnie is it's interesting. You can tell how, you know, investigators choose who they want to cooperate. They find the person with the most, the least perceived culpability, but the person who's the biggest glue, right? It would be either the two people they needed to flip was Dee Dee and Bob, right? The shooters were gonna either tell or not tell, right? And the shooters were gonna just probably, it's icing on the cake, because the shooters, they're just gonna confirm, yo, yeah, I did do the murder, and yes, I only did it because I was promised payment, and yes, I got paid. So that confirms the charge, the murder for hire, right? But murder for hire is conspiracy, and proving conspiracy is really hard, especially when you don't have somebody within the conspiracy to break it down. So that's why you need, who do you need? You're not gonna get Dirk at the time, right? Because they want Dirk. Dirk is the least connected person. You need the person who is the connecting tissue between all of the pieces, whether it's the shooters, the nigga who gave the drop over there, the credit card man who's booking the flights, Dirk himself, and Vonnie is the perfect person. Now, I've said this before. I've thought that this case is beat. And why did I say it was beat? Because they don't have any smoking gun. And yes, could the evidence mount up where if people are testifying against Dirk, and obviously we're thinking about co-conspirator 4, and I don't know, maybe they throw on the stand the person who booked the flights. Yeah, it could look bad when the state, or not state, the government, this is defense, is giving their narrative of what happened. But as long as it's not somebody like Vaughn. Now, if it's somebody like Vaughn, I was at a 45-50%. I thought it was a 50-50 before. If Vaughn is cooperating, I give it 10%. And Dirk is successful. Again, now. And here's the thing too, and I'll say this last thing. If I'm Dirk, I have to look at two strategies. There's two strategies at play. The first strategy, obviously, we're playing defense because this is in the court of law. The burden of proof is on the prosecutor, right? You are presumed innocent until proven guilty. If I'm Dirk, I play two strategies. The first strategy is going to be this. Number one, we ain't doing it. Right? We ain't doing it. All these joint motions is to basically all say, we ain't doing it. Right? Like, you can tell there's some cohesion with Dirk and the lawyers and the other guys, which means they're going with one strategy. And the only strategy that would help all of them is we didn't do it collectively. Now, if that strategy starts to break down, the next strategy is going to be the strategy and this is a solo Dirk strategy. How y'all gonna say I'm the one who orchestrated this murder? It's Vonnie that did. Now, I'm not saying it's telling, but basically, if Vonnie's a cooperator and he's breaking all this down, if all he got is to say, yeah, I bought the gloves, yeah, I bought the hotel, yeah, I bought the flights, I did everything. But Dirk told me to do it. Dirk has the defense of saying, no, this guy's caught red-handed, and that's why he's trying to blame it on me. Oh, I promised to pay niggas, I promised to pay nobody nothing. This guy dealt with money too. So that's the Dirk solo defense. But at that point, you're giving up on admitting that a conspiracy happened. The first defense, which all of them are in line with, as they're following these motions jointly, there was no conspiracy to commit murder. We're fighting a conspiracy. Conspiracy requires two or more people to have agreed to the commission of a crime.
Sub, you dip in the hot jus. Firefighter approved.
Career politicians, partisan games, gridlock. Let's face it, Washington is broken and we pay the price. Michael Watley is not DC. His family faces the same problems we all do. Watley's new. He's real world, and Watley's not afraid to shake things up. Watley will say no to partisan gridlock and deliver solutions so Washington works for us. Voting for Watley is voting for new leadership that'll solve problems so our families can prosper. Michael Watley, U.S. Senate.
It's the NBA on Prime.
Tonight, the Sixers square off with the Bulls. Then the Clippers meet the high-flying Blazers. Sixers, Bulls, Blazers. Tonight, 7
Man, what up?
Many Weight Loss is your customizable weight loss program. Many of our patients with GLP-1 alone. Visit Mini Weight Loss at loseweighttcharlotte.com. Achieve your weight loss goals quickly and safely with Mini Weight Loss.
It requires some planning, some plotting. It requires action, not just thought, action. Like, for example, if you say to someone, yo, we should kill that nigga, and nothing ever gets done, you still have freedom of speech. That's not a conspiracy. It requires action. Action could be overt or, well, the overt actions are what makes a conspiracy. So if we say, we should kill that nigga over there, and then nothing happens, it's just you. If we say, we should kill that nigga over there, and you say, bet, I'm gonna get the gloves, and you go buy a glove, now buying a glove is not a problem. That's conspiracy. You say, bet, I'm gonna go get the stolen car. That's conspiracy. So you have to prove these things, that there's actions taken out. Not only because you know they're gonna come and dirt you. You wanted him dead. Well, everybody wanted these guys dead. Yeah, our friend King On got killed by their vehicle. Yeah, but that's not a crime. So it's not only maybe Dirk wanted them dead. They gotta show that Dirk took action. Dirk made things happen. Now, some of that isn't a denial. Because if Dirk is kind of like a proven place, that would be a thing. However, how do you know it's a proven place for that reason? Right? So, conspiracy isn't that easy to prove, but the more you get people to cooperate, they get to corroborate the conspiracy. Nah, we were planning that while we were on the private jet. Dirk told me. He said, yo, tell me how much the gloves and the mask cost. I'm going to just send you the money on Cash App. I'm not saying that will happen. But what I'm saying, like, these are the things they're hoping that if Bonnie is a cooperator, that he's going to be able to say.
And he flew on the plane twice with her, and he stayed at the Airbnb. So for him to be missing, hey, look, this ain't about no judge. That's some minor shit. Judge recusal, they ain't tell you. That's some minor shit, man. The real thing is who gonna nail Dirk. And it don't matter what y'all say. Oh, you want Dirk to go down, Bonnie gonna take him down. Jim gonna take him down. And the rest of his co-conspirators. And the civilians, they book the flights, told us book the flights, they can tell them they can send somebody. He gonna tell them. So you ain't gotta worry about me. I'm just a reporter, a blogger, and whether Dirk comes home tonight, I'm still gonna report about it and you still gonna listen to it. So, hey, that's what I got on the dope. But OTF Bonnie is the only one that's not in the courtroom. Y'all in the comments and let me know.
He's not in the courtroom. Again, I think Dirk is playing as well. I think the fans are also playing for each other. So if you ask me, as we just looked at this documentary, so remember, we get through this kind of break this down. So this is filed, right? Like, this is filed from Dirk's lawyer. So Dirk's lawyer, so you can tell what's going on. Obviously, and that's supposed to be this Dirk paid very much. Yo, everybody, shut the fuck up. Let my lawyer cook. Yo, give me a lawyer. You're a good lawyer, you got to form with my lawyer. We all gotta have the same, we all gotta say the same thing. Right? This is why Finley is cooking up these motions. And by the way, this is his lawyer too. Jonathan Brayton, also Christy O'Connor. Those are the attorneys. They just put joint and then put everybody else's signature. So it's like they do all the homework, and it's like a group project, and everybody's putting their name at the top. Right? So you don't see this person and this person on there. They're controlling this situation. That's good for Dirk. Because what you say goes. And you get to put the narrative, and then as it gets closer to this shit, you get to have some cohesiveness. Now the problem is Bonnie hopped out the whip. Bonnie is hopped out the whip. Okay? And since Bonnie's hopped out the whip, it kind of makes it look a little sticky. Okay? It makes it look a little sticky. Because now you can't control what's going on with it.
in the courtroom. Why is he ain't on the motion? If everybody supposed to be in court, they on that motion and they on the docket to be in court.
That's another thing too. When they're all filing joint shit, some dirt gotta be monitoring shit. Like they all gotta show up to court together. Now, anytime somebody stops showing up to court, it's a problem. Anytime somebody's lawyer is off script, that's a problem. So Dirk is trying to control the situation the best he can, but I think the fans got to Bonnie and Ray. I think they were trying to break Bonnie and Didi. But I think they realized Didi wasn't gonna break when Didi agreed with the motion. You know, Didi wanted to file a motion to sever his case. And remember, without Didi, you can't connect Dirk to the shooter. So the connection goes like this, and they're gonna have to prove this all in court. Dirk, oh man, I feel like remember when Gunna had that fucking
hit that like button, family.
Gunna was sitting before he dropped any music. He had the fucking investigation board in a room. That's what we need right now. That's what we need. Hold on. Let me draw this out for y'all. So remember, this is conspiracy. This is what's gonna have to happen, right? So they got Dirk at the top. Dirk. My head right now. Nah, fuck that. I'm just typing. Where's the? So you got Dirk here.